Good morning, fifth graders. Welcome to your math lesson for today. Before we get started today, you are going to need your math resource binder and paper and a pencil. So go ahead and pause and go get those things if you need to, and then come on back. For today, fifth graders, your warm-up is to solve mentally this subtraction problem using the strategies we talked about yesterday. So go ahead and pause, and then when you're done, come on back and see how you did. All right, fifth graders, hopefully you saw that this 98 was close to 100. So we're going to start by subtracting 100, which gets us 623. But we were only supposed to take away 98, so we took away 2 more than we had to. So we should be adding 2 back to get 625. Hopefully you guys were successful. So today, fifth graders, we're going to build on our mental math skills, and we're going to be going from our addition and subtraction to now working on some multiplication strategies. So today you should be finding in your math resource binders a mental multiplication sheet. We're going to be taking some notes about 5 different mental multiplication strategies. So I'm going to have you working along with me as you go. I'm trying to recall, fifth graders, because I made these copies kind of a while ago. I'm pretty sure that I gave you the blank document and not the document that is already filled in. If I gave you the document that's already filled in, great. I'm actually happy that I did that. And all you'll need to do is just follow along as I go through these notes with you, okay? So either you are taking notes with me or you're just following along as I show you the notes. Again, I can't recall what I gave you before, so we'll see. So I'm going to go ahead and flip you around and we'll get started on our mental multiplication strategies. So we're going to be talking about 5 strategies actually, and we're going to do some practice as we go along so that you're being able to practice the strategies right away. So our first strategy that we're going to use for our mental multiplication is called 99 is close to 100. And I should say is called that because I call it that. So our first example that I'm going to show you, and again, if I can't remember, so either you're taking notes with me or you're just watching as I walk you through it and following along on your notes. So our first example, we see that 99 is close to 100. So to start, we're going to estimate using 43 times 100, which remember, when we multiply by 100, all we're doing is adding zeros. We shouldn't be doing the vertical algorithm. We should be adding zeros. So 2 zeros, we add our 2 zeros. Okay? However, we were asked to find what 99 43s are, and we found 100 43s. Again, we were asked to find how many 99 43s are, and we figured out what 100 43s are. So we have 1 too many 43s, which means that our number is too big by 43. So with multiplication, we're not subtracting 1, we're subtracting 1 43, 143, okay? So we do our subtraction, and we end up with, and again, maybe you can do this mentally, and if not, you can do your subtraction vertically, but hopefully you can do it mentally. We end up with 4,257. Let's try another example, and then I'm actually going to ask you guys to do some practice. So again, 8 times 99. 99 is close to 100, so we're going to do 8 times 100. Remember, when we multiply by 100, we're just adding 2 zeros. So we should end up with 800. But we were asked to find what 99 eighths are, and we figured out what 100 eighths are. So we have one too many 8. So now we need to subtract 1/8 to find our answer. And this one I really hope you could do mentally, subtracting to get 792. So 5th graders, on a piece of paper, we're going to do some examples of 99 is close to 100. Again, I want you working along with me, and when you are confident and want to go off on your own, I encourage you to do so. So let's try 7 times 99. Remember, we're going to approximate by multiplying 7 times 100, which is 700. But we were asked to find what 99 sevens are, and we figured out what 100 sevens are. So we need to take away 1 7, which gets us 693. Let's try 2 more. 4 times 99. Again, pausing when you feel ready. We're going to multiply 4 times 100, which is 400. But this is one too many 4s, so we're going to subtract 4 and get 396. Let's try 12 times 99. A little bit higher, but I think we can do it. So we do 12 times 100. Remember, when we multiply by 100, we are just adding 2 zeros. We were asked to find what 99 12s are, so this is one too many 12s. So we need to subtract 12, which should get us 1,188. So our first strategy, 5th graders, is this strategy. 99 is close to 100. Let's take a look at this second strategy, where we break up the problem. "45 times 3. 5th graders, this is really just taking advantage of the distributive property. We did a bunch of problems a lot like this, and this is what we're doing here, is taking advantage of the distributive property. Okay? So we're going to break this 45 up into 2 parts that are easier to multiply, specifically 40 plus 5. Okay? Per the distributive property, this is the same as 40 times 3 plus 5 times 3. This is just what we spent the last couple of days working on, is distributing numbers over addition, okay? Now we really should be able to do these steps mentally, okay? 4 times 3 is 12, so 40 times 3 is 12 plus a 0, or 120. 5 times 3 is 15. And now we add these mentally to get 135. So this is an example, 5th graders, as I've been kind of hinting in our lessons, right? 45 times 3 is not something that you would be able to do mentally. But if you break it up using the distributive property, you could do this mentally, right? You could think about it. And really, you probably could do this without writing all those steps, which is pretty much what we're going to do for number 2. 16 times 4. Not necessarily something that you can do in your head. However, 10 times 4 you could do in your head, and 6 times 4 you could do in your head. So 10 times 4 is 40, 6 times 4 is 24. We add them together to get 64. So we're going to go ahead and work on some practice with break up the problem. We're going to do probably 3 again. And again, when you feel confident, then you should go on and do it on your own. So let's say 36 times 4. So we're now going to do 30 times 4 plus 6 times 4. We've broken this 36 into 30 and 6. 3 times 4 is 12, which means 30 times 4 is 120. 6 times 4 is 24. We add those mentally to get 144. Again, pausing when you feel ready. Let's try 42 times 5. We're going to do 40 times 5 plus 2 times 5. 4 times 5 is 20, which means 40 times 5 is 20 plus a 0, or 200. 2 times 5 is 10, which we add together to get 210. So hopefully you're seeing, fifth graders, this is actually going quicker than if we were to do the vertical algorithm and copy the problem down and do our multiplication vertically. Let's try one more. 23 times 6. So we're going to do 20 times 6 plus 3 times 6. If you have not paused yet, go ahead and finish this without me and then come on back and see how you did. So doing your multiplication, you should have done 120 and 18, which when you add together is 138. All right, fifth graders, let's take a look at our next strategy, which I call multiply by 10 last. So, number one, we're doing 45 times 30. This is actually going to be a combination of the last one we did and an extra layer. So what we're going to do is basically say 45 times 3 times 10. We can multiply using the commutative property in any order. So we're going to take that 10 and deal with it last, okay? So now if we're focusing on this part, we can use the method we just used, which was where we said 40 times 3 plus 5 times 3. Remembering, of course, that when all is said and done, we're going to multiply by 10. We actually did this problem just a second earlier, you might have seen. So 40 times 3 is 120. 5 times 3 is 15. We still have to multiply by 10. We add these together to get 135. And remember, when we multiply by 10, all we do is add a 0. So we save the 10 till the end. A second example. I'm really not showing that very well. 16 times 20, which is the same as 16 times 2 times 10. 16 times 2, you might already know. Or you could write it out in our 2 steps where we say 10 times 2 is 20, 6 times 2 is 12, 20 plus 12 is 32. 32 times 10, we add a 0 to get 320. Let's do a couple examples where we practice multiply by 10 last. Let's say 24 times 40. So we're going to focus on the 24 times 4 part and save our 10 for last. So based on the strategy that we did second, break up the problem, we could start with 20 times 4. 20 times 4, you could do in your head, 2 times 4 is 8. So 20 times 4 is 80. Plus, now we want to do the second part, 4 times 4. 4 times 4 is 16. 80 plus 16 is 96. We multiply by 10 to get 960. Nice, let's try another. 43 times 50. So 43 times 5 times 10 is what we're going to do. And again, make sure you're pausing as we go if that's helpful. Okay? So again, I'm really pushing us to try to think about this in our head. So we start with the 40 times 5. So 4 times 5 is 20, which means 40 times 5 is 200. Then we go to the 3 times 5, which is 15. 200 plus 15 is 215. And I don't even have to copy times 10. If I'm thinking ahead, times 10 means I add a 0. So 2,150. If you haven't paused, now is definitely the time. So let's say 61 times 20. So 61 times 2 times 10. Maybe you did 61 times 2 in your head. If not, remember 60 times 2 is 120. 1 times 2 is 2. We add these together to get 122 and another 0, 1,220. So fifth graders, this is how we're going to save 10 for last. All right, fifth graders, we're going to stop there for today. We've talked about 3 mental math strategies. You guys got a nice little view of my living room in the background. Lucky, lucky. Okay, for homework or practice, I'm going to link a practice problem. You're going to work on that practice problem. Remember, you know the routine. You're going to do the practice, and then you're going to try to see how you did, right? Check your work, use the key to see how well you did. And again, it's not just there for you to be like, oh, change the answers, right? It's supposed to be an opportunity for you to learn from your mistakes. And if you're having a tough time figuring out or where your mistakes came from, then definitely come to office hours, seek me out, or come to Mr. Tom Have's office hours and ask for help. Your homework is also going to be linked below. You're going to take a picture of the work and then submit a picture. So again, we're using these first 3 strategies for tonight's homework. Okay, good luck. Let me know if you have questions. Can't wait to see your work.